Thank you for pressing play. The content you're about to hear is all produced by The Coffee Show, a weekly radio program.
Welcome to The Coffee Show world of content. That guy over there is Randy.
Hi, and he's Keith.
Hi. The Coffee Show is a weekly radio program of extemporaneous comedy and great music that we have been doing for a very long time.
Since 1992, even.
Before our voices changed, all the rest of our worlds changed.
Keith, I'll tell you what hasn't changed, and that's that the whole time we've been on KGLT, which, if you're not familiar with it, is a non-commercial radio station. So as part of it, you won't hear advertisements, but you may hear us reference specific underwriters on the show.
That's right. They do the good work supporting that great nonprofit venture. You will hear us also reference the songs that were played on this week's show, but because of copyright issues, we will not be able to play those songs for you.
Yeah, we cut out all that content so you can focus on what's important, and that's, of course, our inane chatter. Without further ado, please enjoy this week's content, this week's issuance, these utterances.
Enjoy this week's extemporaneous offering. Please don't listen at 1.5.
Not for the weak, not for the meek, for the men in fedora hats. Randy and Keith, Wednesdays at 3, tune it in KGLT. Coffee show fans apply. Coffee show fans inside.
I'm sorry, this application no longer supports Adobe Flash, ladies and gentlemen, and all of our friends beyond the gender binary. It is sometime in the 3 o'clock hour here on KGLT, KGLZ, and KGLT.net, which means it is time for The Coffee Show with me and that guy who's always on, Randy. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Keith. Adobe no longer supports Adobe Flash, so it's up to me. I'm the only one supporting it any longer. If you want, it's a great thing to install on your computer if you'd like to open it to new and exciting viruses.
I haven't been the same since my computer stopped supporting Shockwave.
Oh, you can download a custom fix for that, Keith. Just sign into Netscape.com, and you'd find a bulletin board service where somebody has posted a useful tip on how to continue using that.
Can I ask Jeeves to direct me to it?
No, Jeeves retired. You didn't hear? Jeeves, he's retired. I think he's actually since passed away.
Oh, no.
But we've allowed him his privacy in retirement. So.
Okay, that's fair.
Stop pestering him with questions, would you? Haven't you had enough questions answered?
For crying out loud.
He's like, look, I'm just a butler. I'm here polishing things. I don't have time to research all these questions. Got to make sure the rest of the staff has dinner ready and has everything clean and looking nice.
I don't know if it was the same for you in the early days of the internet, but when I asked Jeeves anything, my responses were, I'm sorry, I have to help Bertie Wooster with a crazy hijink that is coming up, and I don't have time to answer your question. So sorry. Terribly sorry. Have you tried going to Google?
Off to the Silver Ghost to drive the master around town.
So I've Googled here how to make Shockwave work on my computer, and it says step 1 for the fix is get a time machine. Step 2 is travel back to 1997.
See, with Ask Jeeves, I would always start out by a formal letter-style introduction. Say, Dear Jeeves, how are you? I hope that everything is going well and that your line of work is streamlined and easy and you're used to it after all these years of service. If I may inquire, I was wondering, what is the correct ratio of inches to centimeters? Thank you very much in advance. Yours truly, Randy.
And you would get a swift reply via Telegram saying... a lot of people, I'm sure some of our younger listeners are not familiar with the early days of Web 1.0, but you would get a telegram in response from Jeeves saying, terribly sorry, polishing the silver will respond within the next 4 to 6 days.
Yeah. And then that would come accompanied with a second letter inside that was just junk mail that you didn't want.
Yep.
Just as an attachment. Oh no, you've opened the attachment. Keith, now you've done it.
Perhaps sir would be interested in some of these genital enlargement pharmaceuticals that we have available.
Jeeves, you know me too well.
the wonderfully named band Antarctico Vespucci with their song I Drew You Once in Art Class. Before that, you heard Bright Future in Sales by Fountains of Wayne. Can you sense the theme of songs we had to censor for you this week? Before that, a song we didn't have to censor at all, Fish Boy and his song Greatness Waitress from the brilliant album Waitsgiving. And we started the coffee show this week with a song from the new album from 100 Gex. It's called 10,000 Gex. You heard Frog on the Floor. This record is my second favorite record so far of 2023. I highly recommend it to everyone. They're like a TikTok famous band. It was recommended to me by a coworker at work years ago where he was like, oh, do you want to hear the craziest thing the kids listen to today? He hated it. He's like an old metalhead. And he was like, this is garbage. And then I listened to it and I was like, this is great. I listened to the Aquabats and anime theme songs and, fun stuff. These guys are great. 100 Gex if you like super hyperactive music.
So by his logic, you are the kids.
I assume everyone who listens to our show are at least 40 to 60 years younger than we are.
It's like the old TV shows where they'd be like, hey, kids, we know what time it is? Or whatever, Be like, that's our audience. That's the audience we're trying to capture. Because Howdy Doody isn't on the television any longer.
No, you are all the peanut gallery to me. Said Keith, making a joke only boomers will get. Randy and I are like Gen X. I think safe to say we're sort of Zennial, but we're perpetually, in a way, sort of always 15 years old. And here's the secret,
right.
Kids. Everyone is.
Some people wear ties and they try and fool you that they're not inside just like, when I get home, I want to put together an Estes model rocket.
Yeah. It's like 1 minute you're Secretary of Agriculture, but you still go home and have a dream about that time you embarrassed yourself at a homecoming dance. It's just how it works for humans. It's fine. You're doing great. So when I say, hey, kids, I do mean everyone.
Yeah. Also, I am a child in that the courts recognize me as not an adult. They say I'm not fit for trial as an adult or something. I don't have a full understanding of. This is how my lawyer explained it to me.
You have to be the first person I've ever met who is brought up on charges of complex bank fraud ever to be tried as a juvenile.
Yeah. Well, they said finders keepers doesn't apply in this case. And I was like, what? What if I put it in a car seat and I call shotgun, can I if it's in the right car seat, do I then get the money?
Are these subprime mortgages Randy's now? Yeah.
Those don't sound like something I'm interested in. Like, my understanding of that is basic, but it sounds too risky for me.
The surest proof that you're old, but I have the surest proof that we are young at heart. And that is, of course, that immediately after the show, Randy and I are adjourning to program Underwriter Columbo's Pizza and Pasta. And of course, once you're done there, I have to recommend Four Doors Down, their new tap house and soda fountainry and cool chill hangout spot, the Break Room, that they have recently opened up as well.
I was just at both recently. Very good. That's that building that those two are in is like Bozeman's oldest, like, original shopping center, historically speaking. Pretty cool.
They're going to get it on the historical registry or something, I've heard.
It should be.
The Westgate Plaza or something like that?
So, yeah, something official like that. But the building where Columbo's is.
Yeah. Every shopping center has its place. Some of them have a notary public in them. Some of them have a weirdly not open, conveniently liquor store, and some of them have, an eye doctor or fantastic food.
Some of them have like an eBay that's for people who don't own computers. And it's basically like you go in and you're like, do you have any baseball cards? And they're like, no, we don't. We just have what's in this small room and there's not very much selection here. But that's what happens when you try to go local with eBay. It doesn't work that way.
Do you just mean a secondhand store?
Well, no, some of it's new in the box still. I mean, it doesn't have to be secondhand.
I know. Well, secondhand stores will sell factory seconded merchandise as well. So sure. It's basically like IRL eBay.
This is nowhere near the factory, though, Keith. They'd have to... I don't know how they would get something from the factory to this store, but it doesn't seem logistically feasible.
Well, the nice thing about going to that small secondhand store, though, is some jerk from Iowa is not going to run in and snipe you at the last second and buy it out from under you.
What would stop him from doing so? I mean, if he's visiting the area, he could do that. You're checking out for it, and he's like, I'll give you $1 more than that guy's giving you. Like, wait a minute. And he's gone by the time you try and see if you have any more money in your wallet, which you don't.
Every town in Montana, I'm sure, and probably in our listening area. Every town has one of those like little antique mall kind of things, the little like things. You go there, you wait till somebody asks to buy something, a lamp, a collectible button, an old terrifying doll, and you run up and you say, I will give you $1 more than they are offering for this. And you get into a live bidding war. You make every antique mall live eBay. This sounds amazing. This is also a regular auction, I guess.
And then at the end of the process, you run out before they can collect your money, and
of course
you don't actually follow through on the auction, because that's you just got to ruin everything for everybody, Keith, you big jerk. That guy from Iowa is actually you, isn't it, Keith? Truth be told.
You found my screen name, totally a real guy from Iowa. On eBay, yep.
I noticed because of your real guy from Iowa tattoo that you got a program underwriter, Bozeman's Tattoo Alley. And they also do non-incriminating tattoos as well.
One would hope. Was it the fact that I got a tattoo of a Montana license plate that says Iowa guy? Was that the first giveaway?
Actually fits. That's great.
You know, why would you spend the money to get a vanity plate when you could just get a tattoo?
That's pretty true. I can get a tattoo of a vanity plate.
Yeah.
Full size on me. Unfortunately, the annual, you got to re-up the tags on it. That's trickier. Those stickers come off in the shower long term. So
see, you don't have to do that. Like for a tattoo, it's just there. It's permanent. When you get the tattoo, you have them do the permanent sticker.
It's like those vintage cars that have the permanent licenses. I get it.
Vintage cars. You only have to wait like 10 years. My car is permanently licensed because I drive a Model T.
Maybe that I've never driven a non-vintage car in the State's eyes. Who knows?
You and your modern cars. I like a car you have to hand crank to start.
It's pretty good. They should at least keep that as an option for when, it won't turn over, your alternator shot or something. You revert back to that. Let me go get that handle.
Yeah.
Dig that out of the trunk.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, that's how you start a Tesla. If it doesn't go right away, you have to get out and wind up the battery.
On mine, it's 1980s technology. So you have to get out, pick the car up, drag it back several feet, and then hop in before it takes off.
If you put a coin in the back bumper, it does a wheelie.
It totally does a wheelie. You need a huge coin, though. Wonder why your car broke down. It's got a huge coin in it.
She's Gonna Live Forever by the Aquabats. We started that batch of songs with the presidents of the United States of America and their song Rot in the Sun, which I think everybody can sort of vibe with in this broilingly hot summertime. And Free Your Mind by the brilliant J-pop group Atarashi Gakko.
Keith, it is hot. The only way to chase away the heat is, of course, places like program underwriter Neptune's Brewery.
Yes, it is hot. And of course, growing up in Montana, where a lot of homes not air conditioned, a lot of the escape in the summertime was to head to the movies. And Randy, we are now in the official Barbenheimer week.
Yes, opened this past weekend.
Barbie and Oppenheimer by the directors Greta Gerwig and Christopher Nolan, respectively. Have you yet availed yourself of either of these cinematic offerings?
I haven't been to the theater in a long, long time, Keith, including this weekend. So, no, I haven't seen them. I'm excited to see both, honestly.
I am as well. I have heard good things about both. The reviews are in, and it says, please go to the movies. For the love of God, please go to the movies. We need to keep movie theaters open. Oh my gosh, please buy a slushie and some popcorn while you're here. Please, please, please. Sincerely, Carmike Cinemas. I don't know what that means.
They're long since out of business, Keith. It was the concessions clerk strike that they just couldn't overcome. I think it was back in the day. It was they wanted $2.75 an hour, and they wouldn't go for it.
Carmike would rather go out of business than pay him that. Yeah.
They're like, look, the only thing we're asking for is can we eat the popcorn off of the floors after people have left? And they wouldn't even allow that. They're like, no, this company has worked far too long and hard to just give away our garbage popcorn that needs to be swept up and put in the dumpster.
Throw that away.
Show it some respect as you clean it up, please. Thank you.
Now, of course, Randy and I both know, as we have had friends who've worked at movie theater concession stands, that at the end of the night, they get to take home big garbage bags of popcorn and you get to eat them.
I don't know if that's still the case, but it definitely was a long time ago.
I feel it's probably the same. While you're at it, kids, why not throw a couple of those rotisserie hot dogs in there? dump a couple of the
Ugh.
leftover ices in there. No one's going to know.
Here's the secret. Instead of plunging the butter onto the popcorn, you put it under the nacho cheese dispenser for the nacho chips. You have wet, cheesy popcorn. It's a secret. It's not a good recommendation.
No.
There's a reason it's a secret.
It's kept a secret because it's disgusting eldritch knowledge from the depths of Relay.
I think in lieu of that, go to Program Underwriter Whistle Pig Korean.
I believe when we were teens, our friends who worked at movie theaters said at the end of the night, the management counted the number of cups and popcorn buckets.
Yeah. Well, because that's really how they're selling it, right? The popcorn, they can't track the number of
But they
kernels.
didn't count the
That's a
kernels.
trickier job.
And so at the end of the night, you could load up a garbage bag full of popcorn for yourself.
But Keith, they did count the garbage bags. Busted.
What if you just stuck your head under the soda fountain and just drank all the soda you wanted? You're not using a cup.
Yeah, I suppose that would work.
All right, now follow my logic. Stick your head under the nacho cheese dispenser. Drink all the nacho cheese you want.
Stick your head into the movie theater and watch the movie. They don't even know you're not paying for it.
They're not counting it. Sit on somebody's lap. They're not even going to know. I mean, ask permission to sit on the lap of the person. Don't do it non-consensually.
Do all those things. Don't steal out of the quarter dispenser for it's got cashews in one and Skittles in another and M&Ms or Reese's Pieces in the third thing. Mm-hmm. Don't steal from that. That money goes to the Lions. That's like a charity-driven thing.
Yeah.
Don't steal from that. Don't put your head under it either. Gross.
No, the number of tiny children that have just rubbed their grubby fingers on that, no way.
Yeah.
But you know what? You buy a ticket for a seat in the theater. So when my wife and I go to the theater, I just say, oh no, we only need one ticket. We're going to share this seat.
You just sit on her lap, obviously. And
Obviously.
And then you can both reach the popcorn. It's fine.
Yeah.
Granted, she can't see the screen through you, but she can hear.
Yeah.
She can extrapolate, right?
Yeah, Oppenheimer. Let me give you the experience of Oppenheimer here through audio.
What's happening? Some guys in uniform are talking. It's just use your imagination.
Same for the Barbie movie. Just cut and paste. Stop and Go by The Regrets. Before that, you heard Peach Kelly Pop and their cover of the little-known song The Sign, originally by some Scandinavian band. Before that, you heard Love, That's What I Want by the Red Men with 2 Ds. And we started that set with the Polecats and their song Make a Circuit with Me.
Just make sure that the breaker is off when you complete that circuit. Don't be a part of that electrical experience,
But always have a fuse before you make a circuit.
Always keep a fuse in my mouth just in case.
Just in case. You got to bite down.
Then I have a mouthful of broken glass from the fuse. It's no good.
Yeah, and delicious filament.
You can't have a mouthful of filament from just one fuse, Keith. You got to break 15 or 16 of those things before you can really fill your mouth with that.
No, filament's like a golf ball. You break it open and the stuff that's been compressed inside expands to fill your mouth. It's fun. Have you never bit down on a fuse before?
I mean, I'm not going to admit publicly that I haven't, because I know all the cool kids are doing it. But
Randy.
I guess I could say what I could imagine what it would be like.
Yeah, the TikTok bite down on a fuse challenge. It's my favorite one since they did the challenge where you bite down on a bubble level to get that delicious yellow goo out of there and the bubble where all the levely flavor is.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Tic Tac Filament challenge, which is a totally different thing.
That's just cramming a Tic Tac into a light bulb.
Good way to ruin a Tic Tac and a light bulb at the same time.
TikTok challenges seem mostly about ruining stuff and putting you in the emergency room. Am I correct? I'm old.
I think so. I mean, I refuse most challenges. Come up with my own.
Like, Randy, I challenge you to thank a program underwriter this hour.
It's a deal, Keith. I'd love to thank the final program underwriter, Ghost Town Coffee Roasters.
Now I challenge you to go get me some coffee from Ghost Town Coffee Roasters.
I can't, Keith. I have to do Randy the Fibsmith instead.
Oh, is that what this play button is for? Okay.
Yeah, just push it right
All
there.
All right. Welcome to Randy the Fibsmith, that part of the show where Randy makes up a fib, a flub, or a downright slanderous and objectionable lie about the origin of something from our daily lives and popular culture. Bienvenidos, Randy the Fibsmith.
Hey, I don't know that language, but glory to you and yours as well, whatever the appropriate response is.
E pluribus unum to you, yes.
Yes.
I'm so excited because this is our first listener-submitted fib in a very long time.
It is, and we have our listener who's been listening for a long time. We have her to thank. So thanks, Laura, for submitting this requested Fibsmith fib.
And what is this week's requested fib?
She wanted to know the origin of the term heyday,
Ooh.
which of course describes the pinnacle of success. The term heyday is used to refer back to the absolute high watermark of a situation. But where do we get that term?
Yeah.
Well, you put yourself in the mental space of a successful business owner. And Keith, I know you got to try real hard,
tough.
but do your best.
I'll try.
So in this situation, you've just had your 7th straight quarter of increased sales, during which time you've garnered accolades from your industry and from your peers.
Ooh.
And you've spent many extra hours working hard to achieve this. And as you look around and assess what got you to this fantastic point in your career, you remember the very expensive bottle of whiskey that a business partner rewarded you with over absolutely nailing a massive sale. It couldn't hurt to celebrate, right?
Yeah. Whiskey is for closers.
That's right. So you enjoy a small amount poured into a glass with ice, and you reflect on where you've been and what possibilities the future can still hold. And then as coworkers start to happen by, you offer a drink in celebration for all the work they've put in by your side. And reminiscences of teamwork and past experiences bond the team. And before long, you've exhausted the bottle and everyone wants to continue the celebration by going for dinner. And of course, why not?
Yeah.
So with dinner, of course, you get more drinks and more reminiscences over success in enterprise. And the conversation becomes more raucous, and as the restaurant closes, the offer comes up that, hey, maybe everyone's welcome to meet up at Gordon's place to keep the party alive.
Good old Gordon.
Right. Yeah, Gordon's never been one to host a gathering lightly. He rolls out a full cart of liquor and everyone's welcome to mix whatever they like.
Whoa.
The evening progresses and somebody starts up some music. Things start to get, pretty lively. As conversations start to gain steam, the volume of voices naturally escalate to compete, and your coworkers start to get a little loose and laughter fills the space. When a particularly upbeat song comes on the stereo, the volume is turned up for dancing. Somebody had pizza delivered from a late-night pizzeria and everyone's famished and starts to dig in. When the dancing hits a high point, somebody's gonna invariably tip over a glass. Gordon does a quick version of getting it clean up, but it's not the last time that a drink will be spilled that night, and each time it happens, cleanup becomes less of a concern with each instance. The party goes into full swing, and coworkers are really cutting loose. A glass gets broken, a framed painting gets bumped askew. Nobody's saying who did it, but a potted plant was tipped over in the hallway some time ago, and it's sitting in a pile of its own displaced soil on its side. Someone would be passed out nearby, and everyone else thought it would be hilarious to put the lampshade over their head and take some photos. The party starts to wind down just enough for everyone to get quiet at the same time, and conversation turns to cleanup and heading home, when somebody peeks out the window and says, "Hey, Day. Laura, thanks for your submission. Sure appreciate it."
I forgot how much of this starts with Gordon's parties.
He comes into work late a lot, but we like him anyway.
Yeah, Gordon's the only one in the office working the whole day in sunglasses, I've noticed.
Well, it's pretty bright in his corner. Yeah. It doesn't have a window, but it's got fluorescent lights.
He leaves every weekday by 4:20. I don't understand how we worked that out.
He probably comes in late afterward. Stays late.
Thank you, Randy the Fibsmith, for yet another glimpse into the totally fictional world of the origin of phrases. If someone like Laura was listening and wanted to request a fib, whence would they do so?
They could ask about Gordon's term burning the midnight oil.
Oh.
Because he has to stay late every week, but they would do so at
coffeeshowemail@gmail.com.
I can't keep these things straight. I have to write the answers to the fibs. I can't.
It sounds fake, but it's totally real. The most Fibsmith of all. coffeeshowemail@gmail.com. That's how Laura got one through to me, and I passed it on to Randy just before we started recording this bit, and that is how he will do it for you as well.
I hope this business lesson has taught you that you can continue having better and brighter days as long as you and your coworkers aren't partying and going crazy. Keep it in check.
Yeah, it sounds like this is a phrase from the sort of Mad Men era of American business, when business was more about drinking and also terrible sexism as opposed to doing business.
This is just a fictional account, Keith. It's timeless.
Oh,
really.
okay. Yeah, yours can be a totally cool gender-inclusive party with consent throughout.
You notice I didn't say anything about any gender, except for Gordon, whose gender I've assumed.
Yeah.
even though he's not a real person.
That's true. Well, that's fine. I mean, Gordon can be he, him. That is a perfectly good way to be as well in the world. I like the idea of now a 60s office, like from a bad sex comedy where they're asking consent. It's like, pardon me, Miss Burroughs, may I chase you around the desk for the next 20 minutes?
Yes. Would it be appropriate for me to ask that?
I believe we have each spoken to HR, and I am okay to pinch you on the bum one time per week.
We'll invite you just this once to the boys' club. It's an open invitation, just this one time.
I'm so glad you invited me to the boys' club. I don't normally get to go because I'm too old.
It's the Boys and Girls Club,
Yeah.
Keith. It's they're kind of a charity fundraiser. It's not. I'm not inviting you to the club. We're raising money for the kids.
You know what made me sad about the Boys and Girls Club when we were kids was finding out that it wasn't a really fun YMCA-style place for kids to there wasn't a gym, there wasn't a pool. It was like, nah, these are kids that need to talk to an adult. And I'm like, I don't need any more adults in my life. Yuckers.
Yeah, they don't have a clubhouse. There's no secret handshake. Isn't their symbol a handshake?
It
Isn't
is.
Their icon like a... Yeah, Boys and Girls Clubs. It's two hands clasping each other. Maybe that is their secret handshake. It's one hand above, one hand below, kind of clasping each other. Not like a traditional handshake, but like you're cupping the other person's hand.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally it. They do have a secret. They are a club.
They are a club. I, of course, would never get into it as a kid because I would have been too afraid to touch a girl's hand, though I secretly very much wanted to.
I just, is this a club that I could come and look at a girl's hand? Get out of here, creepy kid. Just leave. What a weird question.
No, that's it. Yeah, maybe there's some girls there that want to look at a boy's hand. I mean, it's heteronormative.
That's a different kind of club, though. That's a different. Doesn't match their mission statement.
Yeah, maybe it's some type of non-judgmental pansexual club for boys and girls and folks outside that binary to regard each other's hands.
See, this says Boys and Girls Clubs of America is a national organization of local chapters which provide voluntary after-school programs for young people. See, there's the problem. Voluntary.
Ugh.
Sorry, Keith.
Yuck. I volunteer for nothing because we are forced by law to do the coffee show each week. And I thank you so much, folks at home or work or in your cars or volunteering at a Boys and Girls Club and doing helpful service to help kids feel cool. Thanks for listening this week. And it's been our pleasure and privilege, as always, to play music and have fun with you. If you like the coffee show, you can check out our digital offerings online at the Coffee Show World of Content on YouTube and wherever you find podcasts.
Could I find this content there?
Pretty much exactly this.
This is meta.
Only without the music. And we'll be back next week with more music and fun when I say that he's Randy. Now clasp my hand.
Yes, and of course he's Keith. Your hand's all wet.
I'm clammy. Snappy catchphrase.
Clammy catchphrase.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Coffee Show World of Content. We want to say a very quick thanks to our good friend Jake Monin for our theme song and let you know that all the incidental music in between is from our friends in the band The Ornery Jacks. Thank you so much to them for writing such great music. You can find all of their tunes and more on the internet. You know how to do that, but we've provided some links in the text description as well for you.
Yes, and I like subscribe notification.
I rang bell and left review and comment.
You sound like the Hunchback.
Well, this is my sanctuary, and also I have a constant ringing in my ears, so fair enough.